Okay, so The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. When it first came out in 2002, a lot of people hated how it looked. Like, people were mad. The whole internet. Well, the early 2000s version of it was full of fans saying Nintendo ruined Zelda with cartoon graphics. But now, more than 20 years later, Wind Waker is one of the most loved games in the series. Not just because it's fun, but because it aged better than almost any other Zelda game. And I want to talk about why that is, why this weird, bright, and cel-shaded Zelda from the GameCube era still feels timeless. Let's start with the obvious, the visuals. Back in 2002, everyone wanted a realistic Zelda. The GameCube tech demo showed this dark, gritty fight between Link and Ganondorf, and people thought that's what they were getting. Then Nintendo drops this cartoon version of Link with huge eyes and a little nose, and he just looks really goofy. And fans were very upset. But here's the thing, that art style saved the game. Because while other GameCube games now look like blurry polygons, Wind Waker still looks good. The cel shading gives everything smooth lines, bold colors, and expression that never really goes out of style. It's like comparing a 2000 CGI movie to like Spirited Away. The CGI one ages in a year, Spirited Away still looks perfect. Wind Waker is that for video games. It went for art instead of realism, and this kind of art doesn't age, if that makes sense. Also, I've always found it cool that people make a lot of Zelda fan art in the Studio Ghibli art style. I forget the name, but there's even a YouTube channel that animates Zelda in that art style. I know it's really popular, you guys probably know, I can't remember the name of the channel. Anyway, that simple look also let the game express emotion in ways that most realistic games couldn't. Link's facial expressions in Wind Waker are like very over the top. His art, oh my gosh, his eyes dart around, he winces, he smiles. You always know what he's feeling, like just look at his face. It sounds small, but it makes the story feel better because of that. Remember when you sneak into the Forsaken Fortress and Link gets catapulted across the ocean? I mean, the look on his face sells the whole moment. Like, it's hilarious. It's one of my favorite parts of the game still, even though it's near the beginning. But that's the thing. Wind Waker has this mix of playfulness and heart that only works because it doesn't really take itself too seriously. Even when the story gets heavy later, like when you learn about the Great Flood or when Ganondorf talks about the Wind of Hyrule, the cartoon style doesn't really make it silly, it just makes it unique. Now let's talk about the world. The Great Sea. The world, JoJo. Nah, just playing. People complained about sailing when the game just came out. It's boring, it's empty, yada yada yada, but go back and play it now, and it's a lot of fun. There's just something really special about just setting sail, watching the sunrise and hearing the music play. It's great. Every island feels like a mystery. You see something on the horizon, change your sail's direction, and go explore it. And to me, that's, real adventure. And I mean, I don't like it more than like the exploration in other games like Ocarina or Twilight Princess, but it's still cool exploring the ocean. It's like One Piece, the video game. In most open world games today, though, the map is covered in icons. You already know exactly where everything is, but in Wind Waker, the sea feels alive because you don't know. You chart it yourself. It's exploration in the purest sense. Curiosity and discovery instead of just checklists. And dude, the music. Wind Waker's soundtrack is easily one of the best in the series. It's bright, emotional, it feels alive. Like, it may not be my favorite Zelda, but I do think it might have the best soundtrack, honestly. I listen to it a lot. But the main sailing theme alone makes you feel like you're going on like the greatest adventure ever. But it's not just the music, it's how it reacts to what you do. Like, when you swing your sword, the instruments follow your attacks. It's this little touch that makes the whole thing feel like a living symphony. It's pretty crazy how no other game does it like that either. Like, you don't hear noises for every little thing, but in Wind Waker, they were really focused on the music. Even now, 20 years later though, you can hum Outset Island or Dragon Roost Island and, somebody around you could know what you're doing. They'd be like, oh hey, is that from Wind Waker? Everybody knows Wind Waker. Wind Waker's story also hits harder though the older you get. It's not just another save Zelda plot. It's literally about a world that's already ended. Hyrule is underwater. People live on mountaintops that became islands, and the old world is just gone. But instead of being depressing, the story is about hope. It's about building something new after everything is lost. Link's adventure isn't to restore the old Hyrule, it's to let it go and create a future. And what's crazy is, as a kid, I didn't realize that it was Hyrule flooded, which I know that does get revealed later, but my point still stands. You know, it's common knowledge now, but as a kid, I didn't know that. But that final scene where the King of Hyrule stays behind and says, "I have scattered the seeds of the future," it still hits. It's hopeful. It's about letting the next generation make their own story, and that theme has aged perfectly in a world where so many games still cling to nostalgia. Not that there's anything wrong with nostalgia, but yeah. What's wild is that everything people hated about Wind Waker at first, like including the art, the sailing, the tone, is exactly why it aged so well. It's like Nintendo made a game 20 years ahead of its time. The simplicity of the visuals means it'll never look bad. The slower pace of sailing gives it a kind of calm you rarely see in games today. And the story's message, like about moving forward, not backward, feels more relevant than ever. Compare that to like Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword. Those games are great, but they're very much products of their time when they're trying to be serious, dramatic, and mature. Wind Waker doesn't try to be anything except what it is, a game full of life, color, and heart, and that's why it still feels fresh today. It's like, I don't like Adventure Time. You know, it has a very simplistic art style, but it's unique. I don't know if I'm getting this across that well, but I'm trying. But yeah, I think The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker has definitely aged the best out of any Zelda game. Not because it's the most advanced or the longest or the most difficult, but because it's the one that really stayed true to itself. It's the most unique. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we are so close to 200 subs now, by the way. So let's reach the goal. Please help me. It'd be great. See you guys.